a short briefing of the day before, and Alba and Esteba will summarize yesterday's findings, yesterday's discussions, and achieve some kind of understanding for everybody. But then after their briefing, we will continue with the session today that goes about methods and stakeholders. So first, today, we will have a session in which we will compare and contrast the methods. And this will be Eddie Nason and Mighty Solans who will be carrying about this session. Eddie Nason, he will be presenting most of the day, these sessions today. So Eddie, let me go find a little bit. So Eddie, he's been working in research impact assessment, like I said yesterday, for more than a decade. His work spans multiple countries and has influenced entire research systems. His work in the UK includes economic returns and analysis, such as the medical research What Is Worth, impact-driven research system development, multi-method impact analysis for portfolios, include the tool that has become research-ish. In Canada, he authored the influential CAS Major Assessment on Return on Investment in Health Research. Eddie was co-director of ISRIA in Canada and has been involved in running the Canadian local school since 2014. So this is what is going to be Maite Solans. She's also working in Aquas. She's responsible for the research impact assessment area as well. And then we will have a coffee break at 11:30. Just remember, it's half an hour coffee. Then at 12, we will have a workshop on the power and limitations of indicators. Again, Eddie Nason with Ismael Raffles from Ingenio. They will be working on this session. And in workshop 5, we will have the strengths and limitations of the impact narratives approach. Again, Eddie Nason. And we will have this lunch. In the afternoon, we will go back and just summarize a little bit the day that will be ahead. So thank you, and please, the briefing.
Hi, good morning, everybody. Welcome, sit down, fasten your seatbelts. Our flight is about to take off. Destination impact, okay? Well, before giving the summary of yesterday, some practical issues for all of you. Remember the thermometer at the back of the room. You can take a stick and vote about your feelings about the yesterday session. In our wall, we will write the definitions of impact of every group. The idea, and we ask you, is to vote the definition that best suits your interest. You can vote 1, 2, 3 definitions, and that's the idea. And in that side of the room. And the summary of the day, Alba and me, we have prepared some conclusions, ideas. I will read some of the main ideas. It's my personal impression of yesterday, and then Alba will give you some sentences to motivate. That's the way we have prepared. Well, the idea of yesterday, among the main ideas that appeared during the session, we should point out the following. The first of all is the very concept of impact, which is someone said, a container concept. Too many visions appeared, and we must find the definition that best fits in each context. So, for example, during the active learnings of the afternoon and the intervention of the public, it was possible to detect how the different visions about the concept of impact are in the audience. We also want to stress the idea that advanced societies need tools and data to be able to analyze and evaluate research beyond the strictly academic impact, more impact than journal impact factor. That would be the idea. The most developed countries in these areas, for example, Netherlands, UK, Sweden, Canada, show us the horizon we want to arrive. In fact, the European Union itself has its strategy for the social impact, and we cannot ignore that demand. Third idea, according with Director Subirada, she explained us that data show that the research in Catalonia is successful. However, the challenge we have is to transform the results of the academic excellence into social impact that contributes social and economic value. No? The idea will be that there's a need for better link excellent research with relevant research. It's interesting to stress the idea that more money invested in research does not necessarily mean that it improves the social impact in research. So that's an important idea. Dr. Molas explained us that the social contract with science has changed. The idea of unidirectionality from science to society is out of date. All stakeholders involved must work together in the definition of the strategic agenda. That's, for example, that's the idea of the Declaration of Rome. And he stressed the focus on collaboration. We also want to summarize the idea that there is no a single and simple methodology to address the social impact assessment. Today with Eddie we will work on all options and methods, but that idea appeared yesterday and we need to focus on the diversity of methods. It's important to keep in mind the context, not abuse of the bibliometric approach, and so on. Every society, every context of research must be able to determine what considers most relevant for each society. We want to point that, for example, the statements like the Leiden Manifesto, the Declaration of San Francisco, warn us that not to abuse of metrics when we carry out evaluation. It's important to understand the context, protect diversity, and so on. For sure, we learned yesterday the 4 A's. For example, advocacy, make the case for research, the need to justify why research is important. Second A, analysis, understand how science works. Third A, accountability. 4A, allocation. During the active learning, one group debate which of the 4A was the most important. I was listening and someone asked for allocation, was, in his opinion, very important. I agree with that idea because we must, as a research community, influence society and give the idea that research is important for welfare and so on. And success factors for the RIA, we have detected that the most important, the key factor is people, researchers, managers, disseminators, evaluators, and they must provide leadership, culture, values, and so on. And on the other hand, we need some important strategy, resources, and collaboration. And finally, we have the impression that there is no single model. We cannot, in Catalonia, copy and paste and set up our model. We need to debate it, and that's the idea of these sessions. Thank you. And now Alba will give you some inspiring sentences.
Good morning. More than inspiring sentences will be some sentences that impact us and could impact you about this item. So, first of all, a strong sentence from Paula was, RIA is an anti-discipline, no closed answers. Oh, what a pity for us or for someone. Another, evaluation of science is a science in itself. Many people knows this, but not always is well understood this. Excellence is not a condition for impact. It's a value on itself. This was from our general director that stated. R&D transform resource into knowledge. Innovation transforms knowledge into value. Here there is some discussion we had in our group, and perhaps after we'll have also, between the difference and the relation of impact and innovation. Because for innovation, you have to arrive to people, to arrive to the system, but is it different? There are many aspects that make different impact of research than innovation, but this was a discussion, and I hope it will be more information about it. Another sentence. We should not attend that R&D automatically generate valuable outcomes for society. Not everything valuable is directly observable. The results of impact evaluation cannot be the only determinant. This is very important. Impact is not the same as relevance. Relevance is potential impact. I have to tell you that I have not understood this, and I hope that during the session I will understood, because relevance means many things. And case studies must be or could be completed by self-evaluation. The concept of self-evaluation, I think, is very important. Indicators should not directly inform funding allocation. And then start in a smaller scale. And the last sentence that for me is most important, and it was our general director who told us, is not all people has to do all. We have to create ecosystems to profit what our scientists do. It's all.
So thank you very much. Now, after the summary, we start with the session. The title of the first workshop is Compare and Contrast Methods. Eddie, it's your time.